What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Marketing Stream. My name is Jason Pantana. Thanks for tuning in today. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun questions came in for us to talk about today. We're talking about Google My Business. We're talking about SEO. We're talking about YouTube. We're talking about best forms of paid marketing. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll try to do this I want to get it across as much content as possible, as quickly as possible. But if you're watching, would you please give me a heart, a thumbs up, something, give me a comment, let me know you're watching, just so I know who's in the house. If you would please just let me know you're here, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are. Put it in the chat so I know who's watching. I see quite a number of you on the viewers, so don't be shy. What's up, Michael? What's up, Megan? Watching from YouTube. I love it. We're growing. We're actually growing the base on YouTube. It's kind of exciting. If you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I've been adding more content. I'm in the works of adding a lot more content onto YouTube, so make sure you stay connected there. What's going on, Stephanie and James? What's going on, Christopher, present and accounted for? Christopher is a rock star. Hi, Krista. If you don't follow what she and her husband, Aaron Farr, do on Instagram and Facebook, if you're in real estate, you should be following what those two do. They kill it. What's going on, Howard? Good to see you. Let me turn this little sliding bar of all my social media stuff off at the bottom. Howard's in the house. Love it. All right, so we got a lot of fun stuff to jump into today. Here's what I want. If you have questions and you did not get to submit a question in advance, Heather Klontmaker in the house, another person to definitely follow on social media. I got Zach in the house. What's going on, Zach? It's good that everybody's back. Last week, we were doing the Success Summit for Tom Ferry, so we didn't do it last week, obviously. Hopefully, you guys got to watch the Tom Ferry Success Summit. If you didn't, you should go to Tom's website and watch the replay. It was a 3-day conference. It was a blast. But anyways, it's good to be with you. If you did not get to submit a question for today's show, just put it in a comment, and I'll do my best to get to it by the end of our show today. As is always the case, I have an opinion on about everything. Doesn't mean I'm always right. So take it with a grain of salt. But I have about 6 or 7 questions here loaded up that I want to get into today. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in. If you could, please, if you're watching and you got a friend or a peer or a competitor, whatever, would you do me a favor and tag them so they can jump in and see this, even if they don't watch until the replay? Just do me the favor, tag them so they can watch also. Okay, let's go into let's turn off, I'm going to turn off Heather's comment real quick, and I'm going to open up the first question of the day. First question: how to be on the top of the list, that is the top of the results rankings on Google in particular, when somebody searches my business on Google, and then specifically they're asking me to talk about Google My Business. So I wrote down 5 things. So really, here's the question. The question to me really stems around, hey, if somebody Googles my name or the name of my team or my business, boy, oh boy, I want to make sure that I'm optimized, that I actually rank, because heaven forbid somebody else show up. I often think about years ago at one of our success summits, like 3 years ago, I think, Tom Ferry was like, you should consider buying up competitor keywords. Now, this only really matters if you've got a high volume of searches on those competitor names, but it's kind of like, look, if I Google Hilton, you better believe I'm going to see ads for Marriott. So that's one way to rank. But I would tell you my number one thing in terms of sort of controlling the narrative, the results on Google is buy up keywords in your name. So like for me, Jason Pantana, buy up the keywords. So when somebody Googles Jason Pantana, I rank the exact site I want them to go to comes up to the top. Now, is that going to be people clicking a link when they didn't need to and they could have clicked organically and it's going to cost me money? Maybe, but I want to control that narrative. I want to control the first impression. So when they Google my name, bam, right at the top, you see my ad, and it might go to a specific landing page that's designed to convert buyers and sellers if they're trying to Google me and see what I'm all about. Because I think you guys all know this, right? When you get a lead, no matter what it is, a referral from Zillow, an open house, whatever, that lead's going to, if they have half a brain, they're going to go Google you pronto. And so you got to control that first impression by buying up keywords. Now, as always, I'll post all the questions in the description on Facebook and on YouTube. LinkedIn, if you're watching on LinkedIn, hello. LinkedIn does not save the replays, so you have to watch live there. But if you want to watch the replay, it'll be on Facebook or YouTube, and I'm going to add links and questions, and I'll kind of give an abbreviated form of all my answers because I actually take time to really think through these answers. So first one here, I got 5 I want to make on this question about being ranking appropriately on Google. First one is control the first impression by buying up PPC, pay-per-click ads in your name. Number 2, over-index with Google My Business. Let me try to put my screen up here for you guys real quick. So Google My Business. Here's an example. This is one of our coaching clients in the Tom Ferry coaching ecosystem. Sandra Pike, she's in Halifax, Nova Scotia. To me, she's a prime example of Google My Business. I Google her name, and then I typically have to use like the location tag because that's how Google My Business gets triggered. You access your Google My Business by being logged into Google, clicking your little gear up here, and you would choose, where's that? My Business right there. So that's how you access the back end of your business. You have to verify it with like they might send you some mail or whatever to get this business listing. It's called Google My Business, but she can upload photos. Customers can upload photos, website link, directions. People can save or call it directly. There's reviews right here. So she's got 76 reviews, located in, address, hours of operation. I typically recommend with hours of operation that you do them realistically. If you say you're open 24 hours a day, it's kind of a flag to Google that something's a little off here. She's also got questions and answers. These are pretty clever. So it says, see all questions and answers. But here's what I love about this. Should I sell my house during the holiday season? Look who asked the questions are asked. She's asking the questions and answering them. But nobody knows that on the homepage. So like this is just more keyword optimization, SEO juice for you. So questions and answers, reviews, descriptions. These are called Google posts. So she's literally repurposing blogs and social media posts, just listed, just sold, things like that across her Google posts. So again, you would just simply go into your Google My Business, click the gear, the app icon right here, click My Business, and you can add posts. So like I'm thinking about Kyle Whissel. Kyle Whissel in San Diego does this. In fact, what's clever about his strategy is he posts every just sold post is actually a photo. So that way it shows up in Google Maps. They typically tag it approximately where the listing was sold so that he's showing up in the maps through photos. He's not changing this address, but he's increasing his maps findability, if you will, because he's basically tagging the address of the homes he sold around San Diego. So that's number 2 is Google My Business. Let me go back over here and turn the screen off. All right, number 3, and then I'll look at the comments here in a second. Max out your off-page SEO. Again, I'm going to put all my comments in the description in the caption when we're done here. But max out your off-page SEO. You're like, what's off-page SEO? Well, there's 2 types of SEO, which SEO stands for search engine optimization. There's on-page SEO and off-page SEO. On-page means on your page, meaning your domain. So when most people think about like SEO, they typically think about their own website, www.jasonpantana.com or whatever it is. And it's blogs and meta tags and all that kind of stuff, right? That's on-page SEO. But what about off-page SEO? Well, that's your Facebook page. That's LinkedIn. That's anything like, for example, let me just put up Sandra again. Let's go over here. I Googled her name. So Royal LePage, that's her website there. Both of these are her website, in fact. Facebook, Instagram, all these things are off-page SEO, meaning they're off her page, her domain, but they have SEO factors with her name. So like you can see tweets from Twitter. Here she is on Tom Ferry's website, all these spaces, and I can go to additional rankings if I wanted to. Point of it is, like, what's your off-page SEO? So that's basically referral websites. That's top business listings, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Realtor.ca, anything like Yelp, things that have Google juice. So have you Googled your name? And I would encourage you that when you Google your name, you should open up in an incognito browser. That way, like, it's not factoring in your search history or cache or things you're logged into. And you get a more kind of clean slate as far as search results are concerned, and see where am I ranking and where do I need to go in and prune and clean up the images I use and all those details. So that's max out your off-page SEO. And then going from there into this next point, it kind of segues. Number 4 is get all matchy-matchy. Matchy-matchy in my book means, like, hey, look, the address should be the same, like exactly the same on every single platform. So that means, like, if you spell out the word suite, S-U-I-T-E, it should be spelled out everywhere. If it's STE period, like the abbreviated form, it should be the same everywhere. You want to make this as easy for Google as as humanly possible, as robotically possible, as easy for Google as robotically possible, to figure out that, oh, that's Sandra Pike on over here on LinkedIn, but it's the same person on Medium, and there she is on Yelp, because the address matches up, the website matches up, the photos match up, everything is the same. You got to make it dumb and easy for both Google and for people who are surfing through these different pages to recognize this is the same person. So make it all matchy-matchy. Fonts, colors, logos, headshots, icons, all that stuff, matchy-matchy. Biographies, make it the same. You want to have a ubiquitous, or it's really called an omni-channel experience for folks. Number 5 is tools, apps, and gizmos. Tools, apps, and gizmos. WhiteSpark, Yext, Namecheck, Google Search Console. I'll say those again. Tools, apps, and gizmos. So what we're talking about is, how do I get top of list or rank high when somebody searches the name of my business? And the truth is, you sure better, if they're searching your name, you better rank. I've gone through 4 things so far. I'm on the 5th. The first one was control the first impression by keywords in your name. Number 2 was over-index with Google My Business. We talked about photos and Google Post and question and answers and reviews and hours of operation and all that kind of stuff. We talked about max out your off-page SEO, meaning referral sites. Sites like Zillow, Trulia, Estately, whatever, anything that ranks in Google search results attached to your name. Let's go back and make sure you have a good representation of your business on those pages. That's called off-page SEO. And then next was get all matchy-matchy. So make sure everything's clean and the same, no matter where I go and find you online. And then last is tools, apps, and gizmos. So I listed WhiteSpark. I got no recommendations here per se. These are just tools I've heard my coaching members as part of Tom Ferry have used and had success with. The first one is WhiteSpark.ca. I believe they're based in Toronto. What they'll do, they're kind of the same as Yext. Yext and WhiteSpark will basically go through and clean up your Google rankings and everything. They cost money, but they'll do an audit. They'll make recommendations. And if you got the money, they could be a good tool for you. There's another tool called Namecheck. So spell out the word name, and then check is CHK. CHK, Namecheck. Namecheck allows you to literally type in your name. In fact, I can probably pull it up. I'll share my screen again. So I go to, there it is, Namecheck. And I can literally just type in my username. So like I'll just type in Jason Pantana. And it's going to tell me like domains. I might want to put a space there. But domains, actually I wouldn't. Domains and usernames, where's it available? Where's it not available? So if you're looking for congruence, Namecheck, like congruence across, like, hey, I would like to have the same name on Instagram as on my username for Facebook or for YouTube, then this could be a very nice tool for you to do some research. Last one I was going to mention here in this tools, apps, and gizmos is Google Search Console, which I didn't pull up. I don't think I need to pull it up to kind of explain the basic tenets of it. Google Search Console is, I think you go to search.google.com. And you have to hook up your domain, your website. So for me, it's jasonpantana.com. Hook up which my website's down right now, by the way. I'm working on a new one. What it does is it tells you what were people searching for on Google when they found your website. And did they click your website or did they not click your website? So it tells you what were they searching, so you can figure out keywords and queries and things like that to understand how they're finding you. So for me, it's really common that people type in Jason Pantana, Tom Ferry, just because I work for Tom Ferry. So that's super common. But I got to know that because from an SEO standpoint, that's going to make me very findable to a large base of searchers. All right, so that is question number 1. Let's go into the chat. There's a bunch of stuff. Okay, Christopher is tagging people. Krista, you're the best. Thank you. Q&A, yeah, it's brilliant. The Q&A that Sandra Pike does is so darn good, and it's just Google juice. What's going on, Carrie? What's going on, Zachary Faust in the house? I hope he's still there. All right, let's jump along. Remember, if you're watching and you just kind of jumped in, I'm going through the questions I already got loaded. If you ever want to submit a question in advance, the way to do that is you can message it to me, but really the best way is I post a story on Instagram typically 2 days before I do one of these things. That way, if I don't get enough questions on the first day, I can post it again on the second day. If I get enough questions on the first pass, then I'm good. Just got to make sure I get the questions sent in. Anyways, look for my stories. They're typically 48 hours before I do one of these things. But if you have a question, just put it in the chat, in the comments, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you're watching right now. Put it in the comments, and I'm going to, I'll try my best to circle back to that question before we wrap up today. Okay, next is, how do you do geofencing? Ooh, that's a good question, Tammy Crawford. How do you do geofencing? So I'll leave the question on the screen. I'm going to read some notes. First thing we got to do is define what's geofencing. So here's the definition I put down for geofencing. I said, in terms of digital marketing, geofencing is the act of, this is big, the act of directing advertisements to potential customers within a virtual territory. So let that soak in for a little bit. I'm basically running ads, targeting people, my marketing, targeting people, potential customers who are within a certain physical area. So it's a virtual boundary, meaning I'm probably going to be targeting them through digital means, ads on Google, Facebook, things like that. That is typically what's meant by geofencing. However, could we get like a little nerdy for a second? Technically speaking, most people use the word geofencing incorrectly. They use it when they're really referring to location targeting. Location targeting and geofencing are not technically the same thing. The difference is geo-targeting typically comes with it the power that you can direct ads at people in real time based upon when they enter or exit your boundary. So literally, if they're coming in, like, so for example, if I go to Starbucks, that Starbucks app knows I'm close. And so when I hit their defined virtual boundary, I get like the app comes up fresh, or I might get a notification or something like that, depending upon my app settings. So just so we're clear, not that this really matters, but I have a need to make things clear and right. Geofencing is really real-time notifications. Most people mean geofencing through the lens of location targeting. So let's talk about that. Best ways to do it: Facebook ads, Google ads. Google ads include Google search ads. So in other words, I go to google.com, I type a search, and then I see an ad across the top. It's called PPC, pay-per-click. Google display network ads, which are like if I'm on a random website and I start seeing banner ads, square banner ads, pop-up banner ads, those wide and skinny, tall and skinny. If I start seeing those, they could be at footers of apps. If I start seeing those banner ads all over the place on various websites or apps I'm using, those are Google Display Network ads. And then last is YouTube ads, which is the video side of Google ads. So really it's Facebook ads, Google ads. Both offer you a means of geo-fencing based upon a looser, broader definition. The downside with Facebook is in real estate, we're part of the special ad category. So under housing, you are prohibited for advertising. You can't use their geo-targeting options. Anything more narrow than a 15-mile radius. So for the most part, you're targeting a full metro market area on Facebook. However, on Google, you can go down to a 1 kilometer radius, but they're starting to change that. So by the end of the year, we've been expecting this. By the end of the year, there's going to be a change, probably very similar to how Facebook changed, whereby you can't target within maybe a 15-mile radius, we'll see, or you can't do zip codes because they're trying to avoid discriminating practices, redlining, things of that effect. However, let me show you what you can do for now in Google. So I've got my screen up. Make sure I got no comments first. Oh, I do have comments. What's going on, Don from Las Vegas? And Megan, I see your question. Okay, so I'm in my Google ads, ads.google.com, and I'm just going to talk briefly through geofencing, remembering that we're really not talking about geofencing. We're really talking about location targeting, but whatever. So I go to ads.google.com. I start a new campaign. Sidebar, I am in the expert mode. So if you ever see anything that says switch to expert mode, I'm in the expert mode view. Yours might look different if you're in the express mode, which is what they'll probably default you in. Here I am though, I'm in ads. I'm starting a campaign. First thing it wants to know is what's the goal? It says, what's going to make this campaign successful? And I can choose a goal or just say, you know what, I don't have a goal today. That's fine. And then it says, what kind of a campaign? In other words, which of our ad products would you like us to sell you? Do you want Google search? Do you want Google display? Do you want to do shopping if you're e-commerce? That's not us in real estate. Or video, which is predominantly YouTube. And then they've got a couple of these like apps, smart, and discovery. These three are just sort of variations of the four above. These are the four main products that Google offers: Google search, Google display, shopping, and video, which is YouTube. So I'm going to just say, you know what, let's just do display network ads. These are the banner ads that you see as you're perusing the web. So like if I go to a website like this, thesaurus.com, wait for it. Oh, look, a Squarespace ad popped up right there. You see that little blue thing? That's Google. That tells me it's Google Display Network. If I scroll down, here's a video, it's Square, also Google. This could be on apps, websites, whatever. It doesn't really matter what website I'm on. They're targeting me on some other basis. It's just that I happen to be on some random website. And Google has a network of like 2 million websites where these ads could pop up. All right, let's close that tab. And we're back over here to this. So I'm going to do a standard display campaign. I don't want you to pay attention to this stuff. We're not going to get into all the details. But I want you to see here on locations, we're talking about geofencing. If I click enter another location, I'm going to expand the location options also. So it says target people in or who show interest in. This is why this is not geofencing technically. This is location targeting because they could be showing interest in on the basis of, you know, like I live in Nashville. Well, I love country music, therefore I must be interested in Nashville. Well, if I'm trying to sell houses, that may or may not be relevant. So I could change it to just people who are in or regularly in my targeted locations. Notice it does not say the moment they step, it's not real time, they're in it now. It means they're in it within a recent browsing history or they're regularly in it. So it's a little bit more sort of generalized versus true geofencing, which I'll get to in a second, is super like they walked in my zone, they walked out of my zone, bam, shoot an email, do this, do that, send a notification, whatever. I digress. I could click here, advanced search. And for now, like I could do a location, I could do 37, I can't type, 212, and I could target a zip code here in Nashville, just like so. I could X this off. I could do a radius down to, I could change this to kilometers if I wanted to, down to a 1 mile radius, and I could say, right there, 2206 21st Avenue South. That's my old office address. I could get down to a 1 kilometer radius. And what that would mean is that let's pretend I'm here. Like, let's just pretend I'm sitting here on Westwood Avenue and 21st as a person. I'm not, but let's pretend that I was. And I'm on a website like thesaurus.com. Boom. Your ad could show up in place of Xfinity right there based upon my location. Based upon my location, okay? So that's basically geofencing. That's one example of it. Let's go back here and stop my share for a quick second. If you got questions, ask them by all means. Stephanie asked, banner ads, is AdWorks a good platform? Yeah, they're fine. They cost, the truth is, I did a training. We have this platform inside of Tom Ferry called Pulse. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. It was the week before Summit. I did like an hour training on exactly step-by-step how to run Google Display Network ads. Most of my clients who do it on their own get a way better result for a whole lot less money. They're cheap. They're so cheap. So to me, like Stephanie, I'm not speaking ill of any vendors or anything like that, but to me, this is one where it's like, you know what, roll up your sleeves, you can do this one. Especially because Google offers what's called responsive display ads. What that means is they become your graphic designer. You can literally just upload, hey, check out these photos. Here's my logo. Here's some headline text. And then Google will automatically, algorithmically, mix match all that stuff and basically become your graphic designer. So you don't have to design all these things. It will do it for you. So to me, that's just a no-brainer. Okay, so again, we're expecting by the end of the year, there's going to be some changes in terms of how granularly I can target on Google, which to me, I'm like, okay, well, if you're geo-farming a specific area, I'd be all in on Google Display Network ads, Google search ads, and YouTube ads right now, all in. So with YouTube ads, you could do those skippable where after 5 seconds, they can skip the ad. You can target those on the basis of someone's location. So like I was talking to Krista, was it us talking about this just the other day? I think it was. It was one of my coaching clients. But I was like, hey, look, grab your phone, sit out in front of the property and be like, hey, it's Jason Pantana at my, or say back, hey, so-and-so neighbors, it's Jason Pantana at my brand new listing at 123 Banana Street. Well, in the first 5 seconds, I've like hooked their attention because I just called them out based upon their location. So I would say that's a spot for going. Okay, last thing to say, because I got to set the record straight. I'm going to read what I wrote. In the big leagues, this term geofencing is more about in-app notifications whereby a customer downloads the app, enables location tracking, and is able to receive real-time communications like emails, text messages, or notifications via an app with offers, messages, or promotions. Imagine I've got a Starbucks app. And I have enabled Starbucks to send me notifications and track my location, which is not uncommon to do. Well, that means when I get close to a location of theirs, they may have a whole barrage of marketing ready to start pinging me. Hey, get 10% off a pumpkin spice latte or whatever it is, which sounds delicious right now, I must say. So real geofencing has an ability. It's a broader scale of how I can send notifications and whatnot. And it's typically based upon real-time location. What we say geofencing in real estate, we really just mean location targeting. Your best bets are Google and Facebook. I hope that answered your question. Let's go to the next one. Number 3, what are the most effective types of paid marketing? And that depends, Jeremy, entirely on your objective. There's 2 types, where there's really 2 primary overarching objectives when it comes to any kind of marketing I do. There is brand awareness or direct response. That's kind of it. I am either conducting some marketing because I'm trying to promote my brand or build consideration or get attention or whatever. I'm trying to get on the consideration set. I'm trying to brand myself for a decision on some point. Or the other option is direct response, meaning click the button, go to the website, give me your email address. So direct response characteristically means lead generation. Every marketing campaign piece, whatever you ever do, is going to serve ultimately in a big picture one of those 2 objectives. It was either for brand awareness or for direct response. So when you ask what are the most effective types of paid marketing, it depends. I would typically, like last week at the Success Summit, I talked about doing social media, posting on a certain cadence or a certain frequency every day. And I broke that down for our clients. But then I was like, here's the deal. You should put money. Whatever your best performing piece of content is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, put money behind it. Because here's what we know. We know that no matter how optimized you are, if you have the right hashtags and everything's just perfect algorithmically speaking on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, even so, there's maybe going to be 10% of your total audience who actually sees your post. Most people will not see your posts. And that's like, you're like, wow, it's hard to accept. I put so much energy and work and love and sweat into making this content. And for only 10% of my audience, potentially at best, to see what I'm creating. Wow. Well, that's why we would say pay to play. So take your best performing piece of content and just do it like weekly. If you're posting 5-7 days a week, whatever your best piece was that week on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, you decide, throw $5-10 behind it. Boost it, run it as an ad, target your geo farm, target your market area, target your database by uploading a CSV file, all that, which I've taught here before in Marketing Stream, whatever, but pay to play. So I would say, like, if you're creating content, Jeremy, then I would say you need to pay to play in terms of promoting your best content. Otherwise, it's not making an impact. I ask this question a lot. I think I've asked it on Instagram. I've asked it on the Marketing Edge seminars I lead. I ask a lot. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to watch it fall, did it make a sound? And I liken that to like, hey, look, if you send an email that nobody actually opens up, did it make an impact marketing-wise? No. If you send out postcards that nobody actually ever sees or reads, did it make an impact in your marketing? No. If you post on social media videos and great content that nobody ever sees, did it make an impact in your marketing? And the answer is no. So pay to play. Put some money behind it with a boost, an ad, target your audiences, whatever. That to me is a no-brainer as far as paid advertising goes. What else did I write down? I said, Oh, this is big. It's also really important to monitor industry benchmarks. This is more specific to if you're doing direct response. So I got this spreadsheet I put together for you guys. Let me put my screen up. Screen is up. Where's the spreadsheet? So this is a Google sheet I put together. Needs to be 2020. I have to update this. 2020 WordStream, real estate industry, Facebook, and Google ad benchmarks. So there's this company called WordStream. They're a great PPC company. Their founder, Larry Kim, is awesome. They're not real estate specific, but they publish these benchmarks usually quarterly. They tend to release updated Google benchmarks more often than Facebook benchmarks, I've noticed. However, so like these ones here, the Google PPC, my benchmarks have been updated. These were like throughout the summer. Facebook's are a little bit older, but still the point I'm trying to make, Jeremy, is you need to know the benchmarks. Now, remember, there's two types of marketing objectives. There's brand awareness, there's direct response. Which one am I talking about right now? I'm talking about direct response, which means click the button, give me your email address. I'm trying to lead generate. Okay, let me show you how this thing works. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can actually read it. So I got Facebook ads, Google ads, PPC, pay-per-click. I'm imagining average sales price is 500 grand. You're going to charge, I'm just making this up, I'm saying a 3% commission. You're going to pay your company 30%, so you have a 70% split. You can change these numbers out. Cost per click, CPC, is for Facebook, the most recent benchmark. This is real estate industry, Facebook. Real estate industry is $1.81. So if I run an ad on Facebook and I want to get a click to go to my website, it's $1.81. That's the benchmark. Click-through rate. So there's click-through rate. That's about less than 1%. So if 100 people see my ad or whatever on Facebook, one of them is going to click it. And it's going to cost me $1.81. That's the benchmark. Site conversion, CVR means conversion. So of the one person who goes to my website, let's say that I drive 100 people to my website. How many out of 100 people are going to actually take the offer and give me an email address? The answer is 10.67% of them. So basically 10 or 11 out of 100 people to the website. My cost per 1,000 impressions, $5.41. My sales conversion, this is made up. I'm saying if I can convert 1% of those, and I'm giving myself a latency period of 24 months, meaning it might take me 24 months to actually realize the transaction from that. And I'm going to budget $12,000. The way this spreadsheet works is it's telling me based upon these benchmarks, I'll send 21,720 people to my website. I estimate I'll get 2,318 leads. My estimated cost per lead is $5.18. My estimated cost per estimated units sold is 23.2. That's based upon a fictitious 1% rate of actual conversion. If I get 100 leads, I'll sell one house in a 24-month period. That's a little made up, okay? Estimated units sold, though, over the course of 12 months is 23.2 based upon these conversions. Estimated cost per sale, $518. Estimated gross revenue, $243,340 based upon these numbers up here. And then that's 20.3 times my money, my investment. So I'd make $231, but over here on Google's killing it right now. Honestly, during COVID, their numbers got better, their benchmarks. So same money spent, same splits, same everything here on the red boxes. Cost per click's $1.91, a little bit higher than 10 cents higher. Click-through rate is way better. This is Google search, PPC. Site conversion rate is 17.12. So in other words, if I get all these people to my website, basically 17 out of 100 people are going to give me their email address, assuming my website isn't just awful. Cost per 1,000 impressions, about $45. So basically, if I spent the 12,000 or 1,000 a month here, it's estimating that I'll make a profit of 400 grand. And the latency period is within 12 months because we typically know, I know this is a lot of information. We typically know that Google is a higher intent lead than Facebook. And the reason for that is because, think about it. If I go to Google and I say homes for sale in Nashville, I search that and then bam, I start seeing, that's my buddy's company. I start seeing ads right there up top. These people are like, they're sitting there waiting for me to search this thing. There's intent behind this versus I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling and it's like, DJ, spin me my favorite post to heart and like. I'm scrolling, right? I'm not searching, I'm scrolling when I'm on Facebook. And if I see your ad, I'm like, I wonder what that's all about. And I click it. It's so much more arbitrary on Facebook than if I sought it out right here on Google. So I hope that makes sense. So anyways, that's the spreadsheet. My basic gist here that I wanted you to hear was for PPC, I'm super into Google right now as far as lead generating is concerned. What else did I say in this one? Also to be aware on Facebook, if you do ads that are meant to be like, I just posted on my Instagram account, I just posted like 6 different scripts for Facebook ads. They're scripts that are meant to be sort of long-standing, evergreen kind of scripts. You can set them and let them run for long periods of time. But on Facebook, you have to be more wary of what's called ad fatigue. Ad fatigue is, I keep seeing the same ads over and over again, and it's wearing me out. And the reason why that's a more real thing on Facebook than it is on Google is because Google's ads are typically triggered by keywords, meaning I went looking for your ad in a manner of speaking. And also because they're straight up text, everything's straight up text. So you're not going to deal with the same pictures or videos or image or whatever. I don't get burned out as fast with Google ads as I would with Facebook. But anyways, there's also other forms of paid marketing. There's postcards, billboards, newspapers, journals, publications, all kinds of stuff, right? So I talked about some digital, but I did my best in terms of trying to infer what you meant by the question. Let's go to the next one. How to improve YouTube engagement. By the way, if you're watching and you haven't given it a heart or a like, give it a heart or a like. Tag a friend that needs to watch this stuff. Ask a question in the comments that you want me to get to. The question here from Jose is, how to improve YouTube engagement and viewership. I'm looking at my list here, which I will post after the replay in the comments or in the caption and description on YouTube and Facebook. I wrote down 6 things. Number 1, invest in an analytics tool like TubeBuddy. So you want to let me show you how TubeBuddy works real fast. So you're going to want to invest in that. So if I go to YouTube, for instance, and I just say, you know what kinds of videos should I make? I might search out, let's just see real estate Nashville. I'm just going to search that. And I've got TubeBuddy integrated. You can see it over here. And here's what comes up in the current search results right now. But it says search volume. There's a fair amount of search volume competition. It's not that competitive right now. So it says it's a good buy. So it's telling me like what query should I go after? So here's the first thing. If you want to get better engagement on your YouTube videos, understand that principally YouTube's a search engine, which means you got to understand what people are searching for. And this is just supply and demand economics. I want to find what are the terms or queries people are searching on YouTube where there's not a lot of videos to answer their questions or to fulfill their search terms. So a tool like TubeBuddy literally spells it out. Tells me how much search volume there is and is it a good buy in terms of its competition. And this one says it's very good overall. It's a 62 out of 100, which is really good. So if I was a real estate agent in Nashville, I'd be creating videos that meet this search term. What is the intent of that search term? Number 2 on my list, let me go back to this, is review the YouTube provided viewer stats of each video. So literally when you post on YouTube, we're talking about engagement and viewership. You can find the video on YouTube yourself, the one that you posted. You click analytics, you scroll down, and it shows you when people dropped off. So like, for example, was there a certain transition? Did you jump to an intro video? Is there a thing that kicks people off every time or they lose interest? You need to analyze and audit your videos. How are they performing? Like, do people like them? What are they watching? Why are they watching? When do they stop watching? When do they keep watching? And learn from it so that you can understand your audience better in terms of what they're looking for. Now, for that one, you do not need TubeBuddy. That's just built into YouTube. Number 3, you need a stellar thumbnail. We've talked about this a lot on Marketing Stream. You need a stellar thumbnail. A thumbnail is the image. So for example, let's just go back over to YouTube. Let me put my screen back up. Actually, I can probably do like this. So these are thumbnails. Let's just go home. Better examples. So like there's my thumbnail. There's Tom's thumbnail. Like it's not the actual video. It's just the picture. There's Gary V's thumbnail. These are the pictures that make me want to click and watch your video. So if you want to get more people to view your video, you need a killer thumbnail. Like for example, I don't know this person, but no offense, if I was between his and Ben Black's, which one am I going to click and watch? And the answer is Ben's. Why? Because there's a thumbnail that entices me to want to watch it. Imagine ranking in search. Like let's just do the Nashville real estate again. I'll search it out. Nashville real estate Nashville. She's got a good thumbnail, no thumbnail, okay thumbnail, no thumbnail. Imagine ranking first, and then, but I'm just pretending. I'm sure she gets pretty good clicks because she's got a nice thumbnail. But I've seen it before where there's a search term and the first ranking video has a horrible thumbnail or no thumbnail. And then what I'll see happen eventually a week or two later is that video falls off the top of the search results because people aren't clicking it, which is direct feedback to YouTube that people don't want to watch that video, therefore stop ranking it. Next one on my list is integrate calls to action in your videos. So for example, what these things called cards. Let me go back and turn off that screen share. Cards. So like drive them to other videos or deep dives or things in your stuff, in your channel. Also links in the description, timestamps, which are called chapters in the description. Tell people like, hey, leave a comment. Hey, if you're watching right now and you haven't left a comment, leave a comment. That helps you out algorithmically speaking. Subscribe prompts, those types of calls to action should help get people to take action. And then like, honestly, the more people who see your videos on YouTube, and rather the more people who comment on your videos in YouTube, it's sending feedback. Every comment sends feedback to YouTube that people are engaging with the video, which means you have a higher likelihood of showing up in some of the browse features where other people who weren't watching the video now see the video because YouTube's willing to bet on your video based upon engagement. The next one is keep the video moving. So like motion, that means cuts, B-roll, music, on-screen graphics and annotations, things that keep me engaged. You know, it's like watching TV, making it entertaining. I know that's a lot of work, but that's what it takes. And then the last one is promote your videos across social and try to drive people to YouTube. So like Instagram stories, where they go to your YouTube to watch the video, that kind of stuff. You can also try running what are called video discovery ads inside of YouTube. So again, how do I run those? The same place I run any Google ad. YouTube is owned by Google. So I go to ads.google.com. I choose video as my product type. And there's a specific type of YouTube ad called video discovery, which are the ones that show up in the search results. They are not the in-stream pre-roll ones that interrupt and play before a video. And I've used those before just to try to get some views. And it works. You can pay some money. It's basically like boosting a post or whatever. Okay, let's jump over to the comments. Thank you, Megan, for posting another comment. This is the spirit, Megan. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out and pushing the algorithm along. I appreciate it. Doing this show does take a lot of work and energy. So I appreciate you guys giving me some feedback and stuff. Next one is, should I try to implement all 18 of your total marketing checklist presentation at the Tom Ferry Success Summit from last week? And my answer is, what do you think? Yes. Yes, you should. So again, guys, if you haven't watched the Tom Ferry Success Summit, it is available for replay. It is a 3-day event. Go to tomferry.com and you can sign up for the replay on demand. I definitely recommend it. And I'll tell you what, and I appreciate the question. You may not be able to do these all at once, but over the course of, do it in 3-month gaps. Hey, if I'm going to do the first 3 in the first 3 months, and then 3 more in the next 3 months of the 18-point plan, and grow into it, right? Scale up to it. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing in that list that wasn't worth doing. At the end of the day, it's kind of like Tom Ferry said last week. I want you to be everywhere in your marketplace. You've got to be basically local famous, internet famous, a household name, because this is a relationship business. And I said this last week, if you're a stranger in your own marketplace, your business is in danger. You've got to stand out from the crowd, separate yourself from the pack so that you're the agent of choice. So my answer here is most certainly yes. Next question, last question, then I'll get to the actual comments. So by the way, if you haven't put a question in the comments, now's a good time to do that. So this one says, I started posting videos on Instagram, but realized that I don't get as much engagement on Instagram as I do on Facebook. I'm assuming Facebook, technically her question didn't say Facebook, but I assumed it was Facebook just because it was implied. So I looked up both accounts and I realized okay, you've been way more active on Facebook for longer, obviously, than on Instagram. Your content looks good. Your videos look good. So I think it's really a matter of just doing the thing over and over again until it gets there. You will get there. It could be a simple explanation. Like for instance, maybe you just have a larger audience on Facebook. Okay, well, you'll grow into that on Instagram. But here's what I want to encourage you with. And I've noticed this. I see real estate agents, and for that matter, any business owner, all the time making this mistake. And I get it because you're busy, right? Busy doing what? Selling houses, showing property, being an agent. And I see agents looking for sort of silver bullet solutions for all their marketing. Hey, is there somebody I can pay to do this for me, or some company that'll just do all this for me? And here's what I've noticed. I have never seen somebody killing it on Facebook without getting their hands dirty. I've never seen somebody killing it on Instagram or YouTube or expireds or anything in this business without getting their hands dirty. In other words, there's no free lunch, right? You've got to put in the work if you want to get the benefit out of doing it. So I would say to you, I want to encourage you right now, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep working Instagram, keep making an effort at it while you keep and maintain doing Facebook. And over time, it will grow the audience. Like for me, I'm in the same boat with YouTube. I get like massive more engagement on Instagram, massive, than I do on YouTube. But I got like 10,000 followers on Instagram, and I don't have enough subscribers on YouTube, but I want YouTube. And so therefore, I'm about to roll out a bunch more content because I want YouTube to grow. I see the benefit and the power of it. And I think you got to look at it the same way. You got to look and say, okay, I want this. I'm going to keep working it. In due time, it will start to churn and turn over and grow the way that I want it to. That's my most practical advice for you on the topic. Okay, let's go back to the comments. We got a few things. What's going on, Ned? Yeah, I know. Ned's like, I got to watch this a few times. I am talking fast today. I don't know what it is. I've been coaching all day. I'm just kind of in the mode, in the zone to talk fast right now. So be it. All right. Megan asked earlier, can you list an office address on Google that other agents use, i.e. your office address? Megan, the answer is you may not have an option but to do that. And here's the challenge with it. They may also do that, and Google has had issues deciphering whose is who before. And I'm going to defer you to talk to them directly because they've been useful for some clients to actually help them sort out their office address. What I will say is critical from my standpoint is that whatever address you use on Google My Business, Bing Places, Yelp, all those different places, it needs to be word for word, letter for letter, the same. If you capitalize a letter, capitalize it across the board, make it the same. Make it so dumb and easy for Google to figure out that it's the same business every single where. Okay, let me scan through and see if we had any other questions. Krista, I love this. This is Coaching 2.0 every week. And I'll talk to you more tomorrow on our coaching session. It'll be fun times. I'm looking through the comments. Did I miss anybody's comment or question? Let's see. I think that was it, guys. Okay, cool. Oh, and I got Brian watching from LinkedIn. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, man. Glad you're watching from LinkedIn. Okay, so we'll do another one of these before too long. Keep an eye out on my Instagram. If you have not subscribed or connected with me, make sure you do that on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, across the board. YouTube, subscribe to the channel, turn on alerts. That way you get like an email notifying you when I'm going live so that you don't miss these marketing streams. And look out for my Instagram stories. That's where I put the little ask me anything where you can submit questions in advance. If you miss it, just DM me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll try to add it to the list. But this has been fun. You guys are a blast. If you haven't tagged somebody yet that should be watching this, tag a friend. Make sure they see it when they're done. And this is Jason Pantana signing off, Marketing Stream. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks very much.